Welcome to Content Camp.
Hello, and indeed, welcome back to another episode of Content Camp. Today, we are joined by Riley Abernathy, a 17-year-old student at Carmel High School who has just accepted herself into Purdue and is fond of agriculture and soil.
Yes, I'm very excited to be here, ready to answer some questions.
You have the list of questions.
So, what is Envirothon?
So Envirothon is a team competition. You can kind of think of it like environmental science trivia. You're in a team of 5 people. There's always soil and land use, forestry management, aquatic aquaculture, wildlife, and then each year there's a current event topic. This year it's forest management practices in the face of climate change. Last year it was renewable energy resources in the face of climate change. So it switches every year. You typically have a team of 5. You all study a different topic and then come together, take a test, and if you elevate from that, so that's regionals, and then at the state competition you do the same thing, but there's another element of a state project where you take something from your current issue. This year it's forestry, and we are implementing sustainable forestry practices into a forest in our community. So we're in Hamilton County. We chose Katiwi Park. It's county run, and we are assessing their current forestry practices and describing what could be implemented in the future to protect forests in the next 50, 75 years, projecting for climate change.
And which of those subjects are you researching?
So
of the 5 you mentioned.
My topic is soil and land use. Not the most popular topic, but it's my favorite. I really, really enjoyed it. It's my 3rd year doing it, and I mean, I've liked it even before I joined Envirothon, but it's really helped me just have an avenue for that passion and that interest, and just to learn more and get more involved with it.
So after 3 years, would you consider yourself a soil expert?
Absolutely, I would. I've, even outside of Envirothon, outside of schools and classes, I love to learn and just find new things. This is true in any field, but there's constantly just so much research going out about soil and farming practices, different land use, different rocks, things like that. Things that might seem small and, not as interesting to some people, but little things like that I really like to keep up with, and it just keeps my interest really well.
So this is a thing where you mentioned when you walked in. What's the difference between dirt and soil?
Okay, so, and it's a personal definition that's more of a language thing than a physical thing. I define dirt in my circle of people. Soil is living, dirt is not. The thing with soil to me feels more like an active word, because soil, dirt, whatever you want to call it, is always changing. Soil itself is a combination of rocks, minerals, living organisms, and that dynamic is shifting for thousands of years. And so soil gives it more of a living definition. Dirt, I tend to think of as just, it's dirt. So I would say a living, healthy soil is one thing. Dirt to me is practically just rock.
What makes soil unhealthy?
That is honestly a complicated question. There could be lots of things. You could have nutrient deficiencies. It depends where you're looking at it, because in central Indiana, our soil could be unhealthy for X crop. But it could be perfectly normal soil for the desert. Like, you are looking at it from a perspective of, what do I want to plant in here? It could be any limiting factor, such as nutrients, amount of water you're getting, what the soil is made up of, and that can change your percolation rate with water, your infiltration rate, so that influences how much water your crops are getting. It could be the amount of wind you have, which would take away probably the good soil on top and leave worse soil underneath. Could be the parent material that your rock is, or that your soil is made from. It's a really long list.
And so you are going to college for sustainable agriculture. Could you tell us about the process of applying to college? Like, how many colleges did you apply to? How many did you get in? Stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. So I applied to 7 colleges. I got into all but one. I was waitlisted from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. I applied. Not all of them had an ag program. So if they didn't, I either did environmental science or biology. I'm committed to Purdue. Gonna start going there in August. Very happy. They have a great ag program. My process was lengthy. I started very early, which I'm glad I did. My junior year, I was really good about prepping for the SAT. I drafted some of my essays that I would need for the application process, and I also got very involved. I think that's a really important thing that anyone can do, is just get yourself out there. Like with Envirothon, that really helped my application, not only because we won regionals and then placed in state, but just showing a college that you can participate in these activities and you want to participate in those activities. It really gives you a leg up, and I feel like, especially in Indiana where we are, there's so many activities. Like, there is literally something for everyone, and you don't have to win. You just have to show a college that you showed up and you participated, and it's automatic points. So I think that's something that I did really well early on. I did lots of activities. I had lots of extracurriculars that I participated in. A lot of them were competitions, and I won a few of them, which helped. But even the ones I didn't win, you can still put it on your application. It's not going to hurt you to say, oh, I only got 4th place in this thing. So I really appreciated that. I was very, very active in that way.
Do you have any advice for someone who is nearing college and doesn't yet know what they want to major in or what kind of field they want to go into?
Yeah, so I think if you have an idea or ideas of what you're interested in, you can talk to a prospective college and they will just sit you down and have you talk to someone. I haven't personally done it, but I have lots of friends who were just kind of lost. They didn't know what to do. They applied for general studies and then met with someone at the college who was like, here's what your interests are. Here's what I would recommend for you. This is the case in some high school counselors. They can sit you down, go over your skills, go over your interests, and recommend job paths for you, and then you can kind of decide what college path you would take from there.
And what career would you like I'm an expert in soil. Like, what job would you do for that?
Well, so I'm planning to get a degree in sustainable agriculture. So ideally, I'm an organic farmer with my own farm, but I'm sure I would also do soil consulting on the side.
What is that?
So soil consulting is a very big organization, but not many people do it. Anytime you want to do a big construction project, you need to get an environmental assessment including a soil assessment. Anytime you're just building a house, if you're a farmer and you want to get your soil assessed for the health, what's making it unhealthy, you need a person to come in and tell you, here's what's wrong with your soil, here's what you can do, here's how expensive it'll be. And those people are soil scientists or podologists, and there's not very many of them in the state, so it's kind of a lucrative position to be in when all these people need soil assessments, and you're one of like 8 people in the state that can do them.
Do you think you'll stay here in Indiana even after you graduate?
I think so. I'm a Hoosier for sure. I love Indiana. I've grown up here my entire life, and getting an ag degree here will probably be most beneficial. I'll definitely stay in the Midwest. I'm not accustomed to anywhere else. So.
Do you have any experience with farming? I know you talked about organic farming being your goal.
Yes. So we have a little family farm. It's just a 1.5 acre produce. We've been doing it since COVID, so about 5 years. It really helped me explore my interests. I can definitely pinpoint where my love of farming came from, and that was it. We have tomatoes, corn, we've got lots of melons, things like that, and working there has just really piqued my interest a lot, and it's given me an avenue to explore new things in that way.
What's the process of okay, you get this dirt or soil and saying, how do you tell between the difference of, is it soil, is it dirt, and then also if it is soil, how healthy is it or how dry is it?
So a good way to assess that is what's living in it and what can I grow in it. So this test that I like to do, there's several ways to go about it, but kind of what you do is you take some of the soil that you're trying to assess, get a cup of it, and then you place it in an airtight container. Then also in the airtight container, you put what's called bromothal blue solution, or BTB, I guess, and that will change color when there's cellular respiration. So that means all the bacteria, everything living in your soil is respirating, it's living, it's breathing, and it's going to change from a blue to a green. So that color change will indicate that you have life in your soil, which is very good. You could also grow something in it and see. The great thing with plants is it's going to be obvious if something's wrong with your soil. If your corn you grow is yellowing, it's probably a nitrogen deficiency. If everything's drooping, then you probably don't have great filtration in your water, or you have high salinity or something like that. There's lots of different ways that you can troubleshoot it with different crops. And you can also just do nutrient tests. They're just little capsules that you do. Things like that. You could do percolation tests. That's just what a podologist would do in a lab. They would take a sample and just try what they can.
And these crops that you grow on the farm, do you eat a lot of them? Because I understand that you're a vegetarian. So is that a lot of your food source?
Well, I like to. I like to eat the crops we grow. I think, honestly, it's just kind of fun to say, I made this, I grew this. So adding those to meals is really, really great. Also, being able to can vegetables for later, I think, is a great thing that we've learned to do. It's just a good way to preserve food that would be lost.
And as an organic farmer, would you have livestock on your farm, or just strictly crops?
I love chickens a lot. Chickens are my favorite animal ever. I'm a very proud chicken mom, and they love me to death. So I would probably have chickens. I don't know that I would have other livestock. It is more difficult to have organic certification when you have livestock because there can be contamination, things like that. And getting livestock organically certified is also very difficult, more difficult than produce. I'm not sure it would be worth it for the expense, but I also don't know what that's going to look like in 10 years when I make it there.
Yeah.
So what does it look like? Like what's the process of getting certified? Like what do you have to do?
So you have to meet quite a few requirements, and it really depends what you have. Like if you have compost on your farm, you have to log it in a certain logbook that says it met this temperature for this amount of days. I turned it on this day. Like everything has to be very, very regulated and very well kept. Your organic farm, anytime you put a fertilizer or a pesticide, you have to ensure that it's organic. You have to get your receipts. You have to talk to your supplier and make sure they know. It has to be very well kept track of. I think you can have something like 5% in organic and still be considered an organic farm. So a lot of times what the public wants or something, you can't find that organically. It has to be made in a lab. And if only 5% of that is, an organic, then you can still be considered an organic farm.
And how do you know all of that? Like, did you just learn it for fun? Was it for Envirothon?
A lot of it, unfortunately, was for fun. It's just something that's interesting to me. I watch a lot of news about farmers and where the ag industry is. But also last summer, I took an internship with Teeter Organic Farms. It's in Noblesville. And they just gave me so much insight into especially the requirements of organic certification, what inputs they use, what products they use especially, and just really great information for someone looking to get into that field.
Did that internship kind of solidify for you that this is what you wanted to do?
Yes, I was pretty solid into it already, but yeah, I had a great experience there. I didn't look back for even a second. It's all day in the hot sun for a long time, but I still loved it. I thought it was great.
Do you think it takes a special kind of person to be into soil as much as you are? Like, do you know many people who are
surprisingly not as interested as I am, but I have met quite a few people who are interested in it because it really is, it is an interesting topic how much food and life is sustained by such little soil. And the top 6 inches of topsoil takes hundreds, even sometimes 1,000 years to generate. And we are so quickly right now just trashing it. And it will not replenish itself for centuries. And that idea, I think, just kind of resonates with people, I guess. It's just kind of a surprising fact when you get deep into it of how much is just like broken.
What has been your favorite part of competing with Envirothon?
I mean, just going and hanging out with my friends. It's just a big group of my friends. Honestly, we all have the same interests. We've known each other for a long time. It's a way to skip school for a day.
Excuse.
Yeah,
Not just skipping.
Excused absence for a day. You get to go eat food at college's food courts, and that's probably the best part. But you just get to hang out. It's usually pretty much everywhere we've been has been like an hour bus ride that we just get to hang out, all day, take a little test. It's pretty low key, and I don't know, you just get to hang out with your friends all day. It's awesome.
What would you say was the hardest part of your college application process? I mean, you so clearly know what you want to do, so what was the hardest part?
The hardest part for me was honestly just getting started. I applied to colleges through Common App, which requires a 650-word essay, and that's not a lot of words. It is really hard to convey your passions in 650 words. So just getting that started was the most difficult part. Once I knew what I wanted to write about, once I got it down, everything was easy. I'd been working on my essay for 2 months, and then one day I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit down, write whatever comes to my mind, and I got it done in half an hour. And I was like, I just gotta sit down and do it, and I did it, and everything was so much easier once I just stopped worrying about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did you decide, I mean, did you get into multiple colleges?
Mm-hmm.
And then how did you decide between them?
Well, it was a difficult decision. I was in between IU and Purdue for a long time. I liked so many aspects about both of the campuses, both of the schools. I ultimately decided with Purdue because they have a more specific major for what I'm looking for. And I feel like that was pretty individual to my case. They had something specifically tailored to what I want. And lots of different routes for if I decide that's not the option. They have so many different related majors and topics. So that was a pretty obvious choice for me, but the kind of culture of IU and a lot of the people I know at IU and friends going to IU made that kind of a difficult switch for me. But I ultimately decided with Purdue because I think long term it will be a better decision, and academically I will probably be better suited there.
Are you nervous about going to college? I mean, going with all these people you don't know, moving away from your family. It's just this whole new environment. Are you nervous?
Not yet. Hasn't hit me yet. I'm very excited. I think that there's so much I can do there, so many resources at Purdue. I love to try new things, experiment, do research, and they just have so many resources that I could use, and I can try things out. Just yesterday I was looking at new research projects that are coming out about ag and environmental science, and I just sat there and thought, next year I'm gonna have these resources and I can do my own experiments and try my own things.
Well, thank you so much, Riley. It has been a pleasure having you here. We have learned so much about soil.
Oh, good.
And
More
dirt,
than
yeah.
I'll think I'll ever know about anything, probably.
Yeah. I'm happy to answer more questions backstage.
Backstage. Okay, thank you, Riley.
Content Camp is for kid creators here in Indianapolis. If you want to watch the whole show, check out our YouTube channel, simply called Content Camp. If you have a kid past 5th grade who might be curious about what it's like to work on a real live video crew, please reach out to us at producer@ContentCamp.kids. That's producer@ContentCamp.kids.